Welcome, everyone. My name is Kathy, and I'm a student of Mark Borax, have been for many years. I'm very pleased to introduce him today. He's going to be discussing a chapter from his book, The Long Return from Absence, Shelter from the Storm. And this relates in particular to Pisces. And we have a special guest Pisces with us today. So here's Mark.
Thank you, Kathy. And welcome everyone to the Ruby Heart live stream, the half hour where I go into some ideas connected to one of the 12 chapters of my new book, The Ruby Heart of the Dragon, Sun Signs for Our Times, in which I tear down and remodel each of the 12 signs in quite astonishing ways. And we've made it to the final sign. We've made it to the ocean. The other 11 signs are rivers, and they're all flowing down into the Mississippi Delta of the soul. Pisces, rich, fertile Delta lands, like the Mississippi Delta lands where American United States blues were born. And the blues of Pisces are the blues of what do you do when you're a being made entirely of love in a world that is failing to recognize that? What do you do when you're a being made entirely of love, born into a time in history that is afraid of that, is threatened by that, is doing almost everything in its power to stamp out love and to germinate fear and division? This is the great Piscean quandary. Pisces is the ancient child of the zodiac. The ancient part of Pisces, and this applies to the Pisces in you, regardless of whatever sign you are. You have each of the signs in you, but in a different blend than I do. The Pisces part of you is being summoned into question in order to answer, where is your love? What are you doing with your love? Where is your magic? Where is your truth? Where are you? Where is the you in you? We can see where the you in everyone else is in society. I see the you that your parents wanted you to be. I see the you that your boyfriend wanted you to be. I see the you that your ego wants you to be. But where are you? Where is your love? It takes a tremendous shamanic initiation into the world ocean, into the sea of incarnation, to show up as the love you are. When the great tides of incarnation and karma flood over you, as they're flooding over the collective human organism at this very moment. Collective humanity is being flooded with the tsunami of not yet claiming our love as a species. Pisces is learning the single most crucial thing the human species needs to learn at this moment in order to save the future on Earth. Presence. Presence is the single most shamanic demand, summoning, being asked of you. Because whoever you are, whatever stage of life you're at right now, the only gift that you can give the world mess that the human species has created that can change that mess is your presence. Because your wisdom is really beautiful and necessary, but that ain't going to do it. It ain't going to cut it. How do I know this, that your wisdom isn't going to save the world? Because we've gotten all the wisdom we need through the avatars of the ages. We've gotten it from Christ and Mother Teresa and Lao Tzu and Confucius and Buddha and John Lennon and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. We've gotten the truth. The truth is, treat others the way you wish to be treated, and all you need is love. But it has to go deep and last long. We're not going to get a truth greater than that or wiser than that. We're never going to get a truth beyond the truth of love. It's not going to come from the knowing of your mind or even your higher consciousness that will turn the tide. It's from your presence. What kind of presence do I mean? I mean the presence that combines a grand master ninja with your inner child and every ounce of love that you have or haven't given to that inner child yet. It's a combination of a ninja to gain the presence I'm talking about. It's the difference between phoning it in, phoning your performance of being a human being in, and showing up. It's like just sort of getting through a yoga asana to just because there's other things you want to do versus incarnating the yoga. It's a difference between forgetting how to breathe throughout your day and week and life and then breathing. This presence is an oceanic event because when you fully show up as the human you are, with all your love and karma, with all your light and shadow, with every bit of you right there in the physical plane, but not limited to it. When you show up with that karma yoga of what it is to be you and inhabit your pelvic region, your psoas, your hora, when you show up and inhabit yourself like a dancer or an actress or a martial artist or a child, when you fully show up, ironically, you become both heavier and more permeable. You become heavier in the way of a sumo wrestler. You are unbudgeable when you land in love, in the truth of your experience, which is always a mixed truth. You can't just gain presence to your bliss and ecstasy. You have to gain presence to all of you, dark and light, the whole full spectrum. That's a sumo wrestler, but you become more permeable because you have expelled hitchhiking vampiric entities of the modern age that suck your soul from your space. You've kicked out everything that isn't love. You become present as a sumo wrestler and as permeable as a colander. You become the colander of the goddess. This kind of presence takes a certain kind of love, because in order to gain the kind of presence I'm talking about, you have to be consecrated to regaining it every moment for the rest of your life. It's not a one-time event. You can't just gain presence right then because you were making love and having an incredible orgasm, and now you're not any longer present. You have to find out all over again how to be present, because like Earth, it's an endless journey and we never return to the same point in space. This is something most people don't know, but it's really amazing. Earth never returns. We never inhabit the same space twice. So that means any thought form you're stuck in, any dark karma you keep rerunning to prevent your full presence is an untruth. Why? Because even if you've lost at love 100 times, Earth is never in that place again. Your cells have changed. You are never as stuck as you imagine, even in a world like this, with an ignorant species that is insisting on killing itself. You are not stuck. Earth never returns. Pisces is the tremendous summoning to love this earth so much for its transiency rather than its permanence, its incarnational viscerality rather than its perfection. And I'm gonna unmute you in a second, Sue, because I wanna hear your Piscean take on what I'm saying. Pisces is the summons to so love your existence, your body, your earth, your smells, with such eternal love that you can't bear to hold back any of your presence in the entire mess. I'm going to turn this one over to our resident Pisces to see what Sue has to say about this. So, is that clear what I'm stating, what I'm calling you to respond to, or does it need to be clearer?
It's pretty clear.
Okay.
I mean, I think, of course, like I really relate, especially to like that deep love of the earth. Like I could almost cry just hearing you describe it and being. And I wasn't always that way. I was mostly not that way. I feel like I've kind of had everything that wasn't what you've described and worked really hard to have fleeting moments where I had everything that was what you described, and as soon as I wanted more of it, it went away.
I want to go into this because I want to be crystal clear, like crystal clear seawater. I want to really grok your experience. So is what you're saying right now that I'm talking about fully showing up as the love you are and the magic, including the shadow and the karma? Are you saying that you've have moments in this incarnation where you've experienced that, but then it's only fleeting and then it gives way to some other state? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah. And I think I can remember the moments, especially when I was little, um, where I felt that ocean of love. And I couldn't imagine why anyone would act, you know, any other way than to express that love.
That's
But
right.
that's not what was going on around me. And so, eventually I kind of accustomed to my environment to survive. And I've been working my way back to that feeling. And every so often I'll get this like, ah, there it is. And it feels so good. And there's been so many things in the way.
Wow. And you're in Jersey?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to give you a Jersey answer to that one. I'm working my way back to you, babe, with a burning love inside. I'm working my way back to you, babe, with a happiness that's right. That comes from the Four Seasons and Frankie Valli,
Hmm.
Jersey Boys. And it's
Yeah.
all of those soul songs were soul level astrology. shamanic directions, when it makes you feel so good inside, down in the rhythm and blues track, because you're showing up even in the karma. And so we're all working our way back to love. And of course, when the child in you just exploded in love and then shrank, unable to comprehend, how could everyone else not be that way? How could anyone else not be this love when it's the only thing and the right thing, and everything else is a farce? And how could the child in any of us understand that? There is no understanding of that. It is the human tragedy. The child in you and me at this very moment cannot begin to comprehend how anyone could choose not to be the love that they really are. And thank the goddess that there's a part of us that will never understand that. Because if we could understand that, we'd be in trouble. Because I can't understand that. Why are billions of people running around pretending to be anything other than love? Why is that? It's twisted. It is a twisted time in history. It's that overwhelmed child in you that is the wisest part of you. And the rest of you has been trying to catch up to her. And you are catching up, because I see you catching up in my classes. You know, I see you catching up.
Yeah, I feel myself catching up. And I think, you know, there's this entire universe of parts of me that live inside of me that are extremely interesting and creative, and it's kind of hard sometimes to pull myself out of that and live in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, recently I've been coming to this place where I have like contact with all these different parts of myself that are different children, and I work with people in this, but recently I've been like speaking directly with my soul and
Wow.
feeling that in my body and contacting the love that lives inside much more than ever.
And that's beautiful. I'm just going to check with Kathy to see. Kathy, give me a nod or a shaking of the head. You want to come in? Yeah, I thought so.
That is,
Kathy.
I loved so much hearing what Sue said about speaking directly with her soul and feeling herself catching up. And I too, you know, I get stumped with those why questions, like, why is it hard? Why is it so hard for us to stay present? There's a comment here that being present to our own personal soul in the midst of our lives is an attainment. And I'd love to know more of your thoughts, Mark, about what can we do to attain that? It does seem like a pretty high attainment.
Just coming into, say that again.
The whole thing,
Coming into accord. What is it?
Yeah, being present to our own personal soul.
Yeah.
Is an attainment.
Yeah. Being present to our own personal soul, coming into accord with the deep truth inside you and all things. See, from the Piscean point of view, it always has to be and all things. You have to add and all things to any other statement, right? And you have to do that a little bit on the Aquarian network also, but especially with the Piscean, you have to come into accord with the 11 other streams that are pouring in, as awful as that might feel in some cases. So it is an attainment to, I'll carry this for a moment and then I'll bring you guys back in a moment. It's on the Pisces level, coming into accord with the deep truth inside you and all things. So how does one do this? It's through prolonged intention and recovery. Prolonged intention and recovery It's an art form. It's a discipline. It's like a yoga or a martial art or a creative art, this presence that I'm advocating. So a prolonged intention and recovery. The recovery is, it's based on, look, as much as you want to gain this presence, you're not going to fully do it and keep it and make it permanent, because you're too human. You will gain enlightenment and lose it over and over again. And you won't really lose it, but you'll play the game of amnesia. You'll forget that you have it, which is almost the same as losing it. And so we all come in and out of love and higher truth and then forget that we got there and feign amnesia. We fool ourselves into thinking we're not love. It's an art form. And so the recovery is, you have to remember over and over again in many different circumstances who you really are. And who you really are is a changing thing. So you have to recover who you are in many different ways, many different varieties, through many different ages all the time. It's an art form of discovery. And coming into accord with the deep truth inside you brings you into accord with the deep truth in all things. So the intention and recovery is that even when you intend yourself to gain that deep soulful presence I'm talking about, there's going to be gaps in it. You're not going to become so perfect as to be inhuman. You're not going to only live the law of love and never stray from it. You're going to lapse into your karma and your former states, and that's not a crime. That's not a sin. It's a third thing. It's called being human. You're never going to only perfectly live your love and not stray into envy and anger and lust and attachment. It's not going to happen. Therefore, you need not only ever gain pure presence and never stumble and never regress. That is not what's being asked of you. It's impossible. The part of you that wants that is chasing a carrot on a stick tied to your head like a donkey, because it's not going to happen. So forget it. What's going to happen instead of that is presence, even to your absence. Oh my God, I just wasn't there. Where did I just go? I wasn't there in my marriage. I wasn't there with my child. I wasn't there with myself. And so when you accept that without cursing it and judging it, the part of you that does have a shadow and came to work that shadow and be imperfect and live imperfect and die imperfect, when you make peace with that part, you shift the entire balance from focus on what you don't have toward embrace of what you do have. You shift the balance. So how do you gain that presence? How do you come into accord with your soul and with your deep truth? To will it, to desire it, to learn it, to practice it, to make love to it, to fight against it, and to know you're not going to fully succeed. There's always going to be a part of you that drops out of love and presence and magic. And even when you become aware of the part of you that drops out without condemning it and judging it, you learn the lessons, and you see the lesson of almost the entire human race has dropped out of truth and love, has forgotten the love that we are, and is busy enacting lives that could only purely result from not being love, from pretending we're not love. When you stop pretending, you awaken to the love that's already here. And you gain a presence which at its most basic root is practiced by the following words: I'm here and I see you. The me that is. I am here. I am here, and that's not all. I see you. Notice I'm not saying I'm here and I change you. I'm here and I need you to be different. I'm saying I'm here and I see you. This is the basic square root of all human relationship. You cannot get to a primal truth of relationship other than I am here and I see you. That banishes from your field anti-presence, anti-love. All of those energies that we get bombarded with from the media don't exist. Don't be here. Don't exist. Why do you think those radio announcers use that phony voice all the time, over and over? Because they've never learned how to be really here, and they don't want you to be either. Who thinks they need to be spoken to like that? The way they advertise movies on the radio and the way most DJs talk, it has nothing to do with reality. And now we're going into the next round of forgetting how to be real with each other, and you can all tune in because we're going to do really good at not being real. Who thinks they need to be talked to that way? What a fucking bizarre culture. What a strange, carnival, twisted, warped, tormented, strange production that has a lot of love trapped inside of it. And that love becomes released when you gain presence. And I just want to bring in my cohorts one final time to see if you guys have anything you wish to say.
I'm just absorbing that. I love it. It's, yeah, I'm just really more feeling it. I'm here and I see you, and I would add, and I feel you.
Thank you.
That's my way.
Thank you, Sue. It's a pleasure. Thanks for swimming into our ocean today's broadcast. Thanks for bringing your Piscean nature into the room.
Thank you.
I appreciate your welcome. And Kathy, anything that you like to add before we sign off?
And all that is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, darling. Thank you, everybody. This has been a look into presence, the long return from absence, shelter from the storm. I thank you for joining us. I'm going to be doing this for a few more Wednesdays. Get my new book. It's an incredible read. The Ruby Heart of the Dragon. There's never been an astrology book anything like this. It is such a cool book. I mean, really, I've been sitting here reading it again. It's just, well, look at what that dude is saying. Oh my God, did he say that? Holy shit. Thank you all for joining us. Until we meet again, may your karma turn to grace.